Prepare your quality control checklist. So who is responsible for quality control? It's true that the factory is ultimately responsible for quality control, but I recommend you be proactive. Create a quality control checklist so the factory knows what you expect to be checked. Then let the factory know what your quality control standards are. In this lesson, I will show you how to make a basic quality control checklist and explain some common standards used in the apparel manufacturing business in Vietnam. First, if you are new to manufacturing, then you may not know that quality control is an industry and a science. There are people who dedicate their lives to quality control, and each year millions of dollars are spent on executing quality control. What I cover in this lesson is a simple, practical guide to help you get started with managing quality control for apparel production in Vietnam. There is no standard quality control checklist. What you see here is a bill of materials from a tech pack. I recommend you create your checklist based on your bill of materials. If you want to keep it super simple, then just check each item on the BOM and give it either a pass or a fail. Do a visual inspection of each item on your BOM to check the quantity, appearance, cleanliness, and durability. Here is an example of a basic quality control checklist for a basic garment. You will need one QC checklist for each sample you check, and you will need a separate checklist for pre-production, inline, and final inspections if you choose to do all three. These are very basic checks that can help you identify problems early on and fix them before, during, and after production. So when is the best time to do a quality control check? The best time to do a quality control inspection is inline, especially the first or second day the production starts. If you find any major faults, then order them to stop production until the fault is fixed. What if you can't be there for the first day of production? Are there any reliable third-party QC inspection companies that you can hire? Yes. There is 𝗾𝘂𝗹𝗶𝘁𝘆, ProQC, and Asia Quality Focus, just to name a few. If you search online, you will find many. I recommend you hire a third-party QC company to do at least one inline inspection, which will cost you around $200 to $300 per man-day. Keep in mind that one QC inspector can only check around 120 garments in an 8-hour period. Here you can see 𝗾𝘂𝗹𝗶𝘁𝘆's pricing clearly, as listed on their website. So how many garments should they check? Is it realistic to do a 100% inspection of, say, 1,000 garments? Not really, because you would have to pay for almost 8 man-days, which would be around $300 times 8, which is $2,400. To find out how many we must check, we use an AQL standard, or a standard called AQL. AQL stands for Acceptable Quality Limit. This system tells you how many garments you need to inspect in order to get statistically significant findings. At the end of this lesson, there is a 10-minute video that explains AQL very well. It's mandatory. You must watch it. If you Google how to use the AQL table for product sampling and inspection on Google, you will find this video, and I highly recommend it. And it's also attached to the course. Third-party QC inspectors will have their own QC checklist, but they will need a measurement chart and a point of measurement diagram provided to them by you. If you do the QC checks yourself, then you will also need these documents to do a proper QC check. Make sure you know clearly where you should be measuring, and make sure you know what the acceptable tolerances are for each measurement. So now you have a basic idea how to do your quality control checks. Let's talk about standards. We talked about the AQL standard, which tells you how many garments to check. There are two other standards worth noting. The first is the 4-point fabric inspection standard. Here you see a fabric inspection machine. The question is, how many defects or penalty points will result in the failure of the fabric, meaning you reject the fabric? If there are more than 40 penalty points per 100 square yards, then the fabric is rejected. Defect points are given according to the chart you see here. Look at it for a minute. Let the factory know that you want to follow the 4-point fabric inspection standard. be sure to ask them to provide you with the fabric inspection report. The typical timeline is that the fabric will arrive at the factory, and after they unload it from the truck, they will do a fabric inspection. And it's during that time that they will create the fabric inspection report. So as soon as you hear that the fabric has arrived at the factory, start asking for the fabric inspection report. Another standard to follow is the color fastness standard. It is measured on a scale of 1 to 5. If the test results for color fastness is a 1, then the color will bleed a lot. 1 is very bad for color fastness. If the test result for color fastness is 5, then there will be no color bleeding. Achieving a color fastness of 4 is difficult, but can be achieved if the dyeing factory uses good quality chemicals and smart procedures. I recommend you set the standard for color fastness at 4 and wait for the response from the factory you are working with. If they agree to 4, then great. If not, ask them what level of color fastness they can guarantee. Ask them when the color fastness test will be done, who will pay for them, and will they provide the color fastness test to you for approval. QC is not cheap. Given that the typical rate is $268 per man day, and one man day can check 120 garments, then the cost per garment is $2.23. If the total cost of the t-shirt is $5, then $2.23 is relatively expensive. So budget accordingly for quality control. Remember to watch the 𝗾𝘂𝗹𝗶𝘁𝘆 video that's part of this course. This concludes the Getting Started with Manufacturing Apparel in Vietnam step-by-step course. Hi, thanks for listening to the end. Can you see how producing your product in Vietnam will grow your business? Are you ready to grow? When is a good time to visit Vietnamese factories to get price quotes and samples? Contact us at vietnamfactorytours.com for more information about our consulting, factory introductions, and tours. Hire us to get you inside and find the right factory fast. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Remember, thoughts are things. Where there's a will, there's a way. Welcome to Vietnam.